Welcome. I'm your host, Christina Haskin, and tonight I have John Barricelli, who's the chef and owner of Sono Baking Company Café in South Norwalk. He's also just become an author and has a new book, Sono Baking Company Cookbook.
Yeah, but there's, again, there's 150 recipes in here. Some of them go from, the simplest of a muffin all the way up to laminated doughs where you do all the folding and the folding and the folding, and it really does take 2 to 3 days to make. But I think that everything that we accomplished in this book is going to springboard us, and we'll learn from this book in the next book, and hopefully we'll be able to put up together another beautiful book. So,
what do you love most about baking, you think, or why did you gravitate toward baking rather than
I was a chef when I came out at Louis XVI restaurant, Marie Antoinette Hotel. And I realized that cooking is a very pressure job. I mean, you have to be on the line, you have to be ready to go. You can get slammed, and sitting in front of an 800-degree broiler in New Orleans when the kitchen was 110 degrees already, it just turned me off. And I realized that the better jobs are at night. You get out at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'm always a morning person, so I felt that I was missing a lot. So when I graduated the Culinary Institute, I looked for a baking job just to see what it would be like. And I landed at the Palace Hotel. Back then it was the Helmsley Palace in New York City.
Yeah.
And they were just opening, so I was on the opening crew of that. And I was very fortunate. I was on the opening crew of the Helmsley Palace, Acute Cafe, which was a great restaurant down in Tribeca, Le Bernardin, which is still one of the best restaurants in New York City. I was on the opening crew of that. So I got to see a lot of restaurants from the ground up. And then I obviously built the Sono Baking Company from scratch with my ex-partner, Margot.
Who is there, do you have a chef that you learned something from the most, or one of the ones that you admire?
Well, in my book, I mentioned a man named Rick Stefan. He was the first chef I ever worked for. He was a culinary grad, but he was also military. He saw some time in Vietnam, and he was very, very, you have to do it this way because.
The cake's gonna
and it
explode.
wasn't just because of his ego, it was the right way. He taught me how to do things the right way and why. Same thing with dealing with people in the kitchen. Same thing with, rotating stocks and, everything, I think I had one of the best apprenticeships before school because of Rick Stefan. And I still talk to him at least twice a month. We're still friends. I still respect him. He's out of the industry. His back went out on him, something that happens very often in this industry. But he's out in California now, and he just called me yesterday, in fact, and said, he went to 2 Barnes & Noble, and he can't find the book. He said, they're sold out.
Oh, wow, so that's great. That's great.
He said, I bought 18 of them. He's given away 18 of them. So he's very proud of me also. So.
Well, you're doing a lot of book signings around that
area. We're really pushing.
Is that listed on your website?
We do. We have some events either on Facebook or on Twitter. I have my son Nikolai trying to keep up on it for me because I don't really have the time or the knowledge, I'll be honest. It takes time to do this stuff, even though it's 5 minutes. But we've been in all the local libraries, bookstores.
So people can look in the library if they want to see it as well.
Yep, we're going to Westport, I think, on oh gosh, somebody help me. Thursday, whatever Thursday. I think it's June 8th, maybe. We'll be at the.
And at the libraries, do you do demonstration, or you just?
No, we strictly do a PowerPoint presentation, question and answers, and then we always bring some goodies at the end for the people to try. The libraries really aren't set up for demonstrations. And baking is one of those things. How do you bake? You could show the beginning, but you really can't. The rest is the magic happens in the oven. Not like cooking where you can saute something really fast and have a dish out in a couple minutes. So.
But I mean, you're doing so many things because you're wearing the hats of the chef, the managing a restaurant, marketing your products, going to all these, outsourcing them or whatever, and then having done the book, marketing the book, and doing the
And starting a second book and
yeah. How do you do
expanding
it
into
all? I mean,
expanding into New Haven. We're looking to open a second store in New Haven.
oh really?
Yeah.
How are you managing all your time? I mean, that's
Not
a
very
lot
well.
of different things.
It's
But they all
exhausting.
mix together. I mean, one feeds the other, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a good support staff. Fran keeps my schedule for me. It's a 12 to 16-hour day, and then we always have the kids and the family. So we're managing, but it's very enthusiastic. My whole staff is enthusiastic. Everybody wants to grow and expand. So we're going to see if New Haven's the place for us.
Have you had any other ideas, or just that's the one that you want to try?
New Haven?
Yeah.
I love the city.
Yeah, well, it's a college-y town, too.
It's a college town. There's 5 universities and colleges up there. There's a great food community, very food-savvy clientele up there. They love us when we go to the farmers markets 3 days a week. So I feel we have a client base. We've been up there 3 years already with the farmers market. So I think it's time that we get planted, and might turn out to be a little bit better than South Norwalk as far as the retail side of it goes.
Have you ever had the moment where you got kind of, through this whole process of starting the restaurant, where you thought, what did I do this for? Or especially when we had the downturn.
I'm at that stage now because
yeah.
I'm trying to raise the financing, and
yeah.
I'm like, what am I getting myself into again? Because
to do a new one, yeah.
Yeah, well, only because,
Because it's a risky business at restaurants, right?
It is, but if you have the quality and the, I'm going to say the, what is the word? I have confidence in myself. I really think that that's it. The quality, having confidence, and having the ability to open a store. This is my, I've been in business in Sono at 5 years. I had a bakery in Brooklyn for 10 years. I had another bakery in Manhattan for a year.
So you're pretty comfortable.
So I'm very comfortable about opening locations, and like I said, I was on the opening crew of several other places that weren't mine. So that part's easy. It's the day in, day out that really gets to you sometimes.
Well, you have to keep us updated when your new restaurant opens,
okay,
and when you do your second book.
Yep.
And because it's interesting to watch you grow since we
right,
talked 5 years
ago,
and just how you've grown a lot since then, and had a lot of success, and I think it's great. I mean, and I look forward to looking at the book and also seeing your new show. And is there anything that you want to do that that isn't in your spectrum right now that you want to do in the future?
Well, I want to end up as a teacher, so I want to end up
a baking school.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And selling gelato on some beach somewhere. That'll be my retirement. Something to keep me in the industry, but yet maybe 3 or 4 months out of the year, work very hard and then relax. I'm always very envious of these snowbirds that go down south, make their money, and then come back up north in the winter, or vice versa. So, but yeah, I think teaching is where I want to end up. I think that it's a nice way of giving back all the knowledge that you've obtained over all these
fun,
years.
yeah, like Julia Child's thing.
Yeah. Every year that goes by, I mean, I'm 33 years now baking and professionally, so that's quite a bit of knowledge that I have. Whenever I'm asked to do something locally that has to do with students, I always like to jump on the opportunity. It gives me a chance to see how teaching really is, or even just sharing knowledge. So
I think that's wonderful that you can, that's a great ambition and a necessary one. I think right now people really want to find out what's in food and how to make good food. And,
right.
And getting away, hopefully, from junk food. So.
Well, that's why this book was so easy. You know, at the bakery, we're all natural. We only use the best of everything we can possibly find. We're all butter. We don't use shortening and trans fats and all that stuff. So I feel confident when my kids come that they can eat anything.
It's good desserts, yeah.
Exactly, and wholesome. Of course, you want to eat everything in moderation.
Coming, and thanks for watching. And look for John's book, Sono Baking Company Cookbook.